Everybody, Eric Croft here from Command Your Legacy, 50-pound weight loss success story, cancer survivor, 2 years removed, cancer free. As a matter of fact, today I'm talking to you live. I actually had blood work done for my quarterly checkups and x-ray as well because I have appointments next week. So I get my quarterly checkups with my oncologist. So within this series, I've been talking to you guys about 3 things soldiers should know before taking the PT test. You know, you hear a lot of stories about, people try to tell you what to do, how to do, where to do it, with your PT, which I can get into that as well. But I'm talking about through the mindset piece of this. It's a little more intricate than just actually showing you how to do a push-up or how to do a sit-up or how to hold somebody's feet, right? Because all that's very important. But if you don't have the mindset going in, you very well could end up, ruining your chances of actually passing the PT test and being successful. I took you through 2 other parts of this series. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You cannot just run into the PT test and expect to pass, right? There's a lot of people that actually do, and they're very successful in it, and I commend them for it. And there are a lot of times that I wish I could do that, and I never was able to. But I was one of those that struggled with PT all the time, and I was always struggling to either pass, or I was struggling with the weight. Being at 225 pounds, always having to be taped, wondering if I was going to actually pass the tape. That was always a worry for me. And I struggled with that all throughout my career. And there's a lot of soldiers out there that actually struggle in the same ways that I do, or I did. And I was able to change my mindset and set myself up for success in that. And then, yesterday, or the last video, I took you through after doing the marathon. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I've talked about there being a lot of ups and downs, and the ups and downs of me having to, thinking I was preparing myself for the PT test, getting through, passing, barely passing, but a minimum, got me up and excited in the fact that I thought I was passing. I passed the test, and I was good to go for another 6 months to a year, depending on whatever unit you're in or that I was in at the time, on how often they took the PT test. Then I got through my success of overcoming all of that, dropping the 50 pounds, not having to get on the scale anymore, or get that tape wrapped around me. Went from an extra large uniform to a small uniform. That was a high for me. That was an up. I'd overcome and conquered all of that craziness, right? Only to be hit with cancer. I was hit with another down, took me out. But I did not let it overcome me, or I did not let it take me over. I overcame it. It did not overcome me. I took control of my situation, and I owned it, and I pushed through, brought the powerful me out, and pushed through that. And within 9 months of my second surgery, almost a year later from the first surgery, I passed my PT test with 90% or better on all the events. So it just goes to show you that it can happen. It's just the fact of how you're going to do it. So today I'm going to talk to you about you can work your way to the top. Keyword there, work. Success does not come in anything without the work, right? You've got to have work in order to obtain this. You've got to do the work in order to obtain the success that you want to obtain. And you cannot expect to have what others have. You see somebody that has something that you want. You sit around and wish and think and ponder and say, I wish that I could have some of that. I wish that would happen for me. You cannot wish and expect to have what others have without doing the work. You've got to do the work because it's not going to come naturally. And you're going to have your ups and downs, and it's going to be a sprint, or it's going to be a marathon and not a sprint. Just like I talked about in my last two videos, 2 episodes. I could not expect to come back from my cancer surgery without doing the work and passing the PT test within that 9 months of that second surgery without doing the work. I could not expect to just jump up out of bed and be ready to go. It wasn't going to happen. I had to put in the work because that day 1 after my 6-week recovery, after having my abs ripped completely open, I tried to do a pull-up, but I got in to do the work, and I started to do the work. I had to want it. I had to understand the fact that I could not get to where I wanted to be without doing the work. I wanted to get to the top at where I was previous to all this cancer stuff, at my PT regimen and my PT abilities, but I could not do it without the work. So day 1 after the 6-week recovery of my second surgery, I started to do the work. I could barely do one pull-up because my core strength was just not there due to the surgery. You know, I could not expect to bounce back and then just boom, I'm off to the races and running. Didn't happen that way. Had to put in the work. You know, I could not expect to lose the 50 pounds to get out from under that tape and get off of that scale thinking, am I going to pass the tape? Without putting in the work to lose that 50 pounds. And I could not expect, do not disturb, apparently doesn't work. Had a phone call. So I could not lose the 50 pounds, drop from a extra large uniform down to a small uniform without putting in the work. The result of me losing that 50 pounds, the result was me dropping to a smaller uniform, smaller clothes, being able to feel better about myself and be able to have more energy, be able to pass the PT test without any problems and not worried about having to pass it. I could not get there without the work. I reached the top because I put in the work, right? And you have to put in that work. So people run from the work. You have to put in the work, and so many people run from the work because it's hard. You can't sit around and wish what others have, like I was saying earlier, without putting in the work. And people get mad because they don't get the success that others have. They just look at the success and expect it to happen, and just boom, magic fairy. Here, let me tap you on the shoulder in your head with the magic wand. Not going to happen. You can't, and they sit around and get mad because it doesn't happen for them, but they wish and dream on a star of somebody else of having the success that they want, but they're not getting it, but they get mad about it. But yet, they didn't put in the work. So if there's something that I may have that somebody else wants, and they look at me and be like, I want what you have. Why is it not happening for me? Why am I not able to get what you got? Or to get what you have, obtain what you have? And first thing I'm going to ask you is like, what are you doing to get there? You need help to get there. I can show you what I did. I can show you how I obtained it. I can help and mentor and coach you along the way to get there. But without you being able to physically do the work, it's not going to happen. Because there's things that I want. And there we go again, another call. I cannot expect to obtain something that somebody else has without me doing the work. So I know that if I have a goal and I have my eyes set on something that somebody else has, it's like, look, I want that part of my life. I know that I've got to figure out I've got to figure out what it's going to take in order for me to get there, right? Okay. So put in the work. You cannot obtain the success without the work. Do the things you don't want to do, but you know that you have to do in order to get there. That's where it's going to be at. Do the things you know that you do not want to do, that you know you have to do in order to get there, and you'll get your success. I promise you. It's just going to take the grind. It's going to take the work and the effort to get there. You know, work your way to the top. You can put yourself up to the top, but hit that work, right? Get it in daily. And you will hit your goals. Put your goals out there and you'll hit it. So I hope that this was something of value for you today in order to get, that you can work your way to the top, but you have to put in the work. Share it with somebody that can actually get something out of this. And I will hopefully actually see you here soon for the next episode. Take care.